The coin in the dust. The spaceport of Vela 9 was a place where hope came to die. It was not the shining hub of prosperity you'd expect of a galactic trading post. It was a rusting wound at the edge of civilized space, where broken freighters leaked fluids onto oil-stained decks, where neon signs sputtered, and where dreams collapsed under the weight of debt. It was here, beneath a half-flickering hollow billboard, that Thomas Kane, a human trader down on his luck, stopped to tighten the strap of his cargo bag. That was when he saw it. Huddled against the steel wall, wrapped in rags too thin for the cold night air, sat an alien. Its skin was a pale green-gray, mottled with patches of disease, and its four thin arms trembled as if they could barely hold the rags around its body. Its eyes, huge, black, and hollow, lifted toward him with a desperation that transcended language. It didn't speak. It only stretched out one trembling hand. A beggar. The smallest gesture. Thomas sighed. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't powerful. He wasn't even particularly lucky. His last haul of scrap metal had barely earned him enough to keep his freighter afloat another month. But there was something about the alien. Something in the way it didn't plead, didn't whine, didn't beg with words. Just silent hope. He dug into his pocket, fingers brushing over old receipts, a broken stylus, and then a coin. Not credits, not digital currency, not galactic tender. Just a simple earth coin. Bronze. Scuffed edges. A small thing he'd carried for years without thinking. Worthless here on a world that didn't even recognize earth currency. He weighed it in his palm. He could have ignored the alien, walked on, pretended not to care. But the weight of those hollow eyes tugged at something inside him. Here, he muttered. He dropped the coin into the alien's hand. The alien blinked, staring at it with wide eyes. Its thin fingers closed around it as if Thomas had given it the sun itself. For a moment, Thomas almost laughed. It's junk, he thought. It's nothing. And then he walked away. Whispers in the dark. What Thomas didn't see was what happened after. The alien unfolded its trembling hands and gazed at the coin under the sputtering neon glow. His black eyes widened. His breath caught in its throat. The ragged beggar staggered to its feet, clutching the coin like a holy relic, and disappeared into the shadows. By dawn, the alleys of Vela 9 buzzed with whispers. A human gave something to a beggar, a relic older than the stars, the key to the infinite vault. The word spread like wildfire through smugglers' dens, mercenary barracks, and criminal underworld networks. Names were spoken in hushed tones, old myths rekindled. By the time Thomas Kane reached his ship, people were already looking at him differently. The coin's true weight. Thomas didn't understand why. He didn't understand why every alien vendor he passed that morning froze mid-transaction, staring at him. Why mercenaries with scarred faces followed him with predatory eyes. Why even the station guards tightened their grips on their weapons when he walked past. It wasn't until he heard the first gunshot that he realized something had shifted. A bolt of plasma struck the wall just inches from his head, spraying sparks. Thomas spun, heart pounding, and saw 3 figures emerge from the shadows. Tall, insectoid mercs with curved blades and glowing rifles. Human. One of them hissed, mandibles clacking. "Hand it over." Thomas froze. "Hand what over?" The merc snarled. "The relic you gave the beggar. The coin." Thomas blinked in disbelief. "You mean the spare change?" Another bolt of plasma scorched the ground at his feet. "Give it to us, or die." The chase. Thomas ran. His boots pounded against the steel deck as he shoved through crowds, alarms blaring overhead. Plasma bolts screamed past his ears, cutting down market stalls, scattering terrified civilians. The mercs chased him relentlessly, their armored bodies moving with terrifying speed. Thomas ducked into a maintenance tunnel, lungs burning. His mind raced. Why a coin? Why would they care about a worthless piece of earth metal? He didn't have time to think. The mercs were still on him, their weapons lighting the tunnel with flashes of lethal blue. Thomas barely made it back to his freighter. He slammed his hand against the hatch control, stumbled inside, and sealed it shut as the ship rattled under impacts. "Launch!" he barked at the onboard AI. Now! Engines roared, and the freighter tore free from the docking clamps, spinning into the void as plasma fire streaked past. Thomas collapsed into the pilot's chair, panting. His hands shook. His thoughts spun. What the hell just happened? A knock at the airlock. He had just begun to relax when the proximity alarm screamed. Something was on his hull. Before he could react, a knock echoed through the ship. A hollow, deliberate knock, right on the airlock door. Thomas gripped the pistol hidden beneath his console and moved cautiously. The sensors showed a life form clinging to the hull, small, weak, barely alive. He opened the inner airlock door cautiously, weapon raised. And there, collapsed on the deck, was the beggar. The same alien from before. Its ragged body shivered with exhaustion. Its bony fingers still clutched the coin. Why are they after me? Thomas demanded. The alien lifted its hollow eyes to his, and for the first time it spoke. Its voice was a rasp, ancient and broken, because, it whispered, holding up the coin with reverence. You gave me the key of worlds, the dip before the storm. Thomas stared at the coin, dumbfounded. That's a key? That's a relic? He barked a short laugh, half hysterical. It's pocket change. The alien's black eyes never blinked. Not in this galaxy. Not to those who remember. That coin can open vaults buried before your species learned fire. Vaults that hold power entire empires would kill to possess. Thomas's hand trembled. He looked at the coin. An Earth relic minted centuries ago, passed from hand to hand until it ended up in his pocket. And now it was the most valuable thing in the galaxy. The beggar slumped forward, collapsing unconscious on the deck. The proximity alarm screamed again. This time it wasn't just 3 mercs. It was an entire fleet. Ships filled the void outside, dozens of pirate vessels. Were banners glowing, weapons hot. All for a coin. The coin that bought a galaxy. The rain had not stopped. It drummed against the domes of Varys Station, washing streaks of neon into glowing rivers down the cracked walls. Kairosh sat in silence, still clutching the coin that Marcus had pressed into his trembling hand. Its metallic glint caught the dull light, reflecting with a stubborn brightness that seemed to defy the decay of the alien quarter. Across from him, Marcus leaned against the rail, arms folded, his expression unreadable. The moment should have been nothing, an act of kindness dismissed within the hour. Yet, the quiet hum of the coin vibrated against Kairosh's palm, like it was more than just stamped metal. Something was awake inside it. The awakening. Kairosh dared to speak, his voice hushed. Human. Do you even know what you've given me? Marcus shrugged, casual as ever. A coin. Earth junk. Worthless anywhere but nostalgia markets. Guess it might buy you a meal. But Kairosh's eyes were wide, his mandibles trembling. No, it's not junk. This is... He trailed off, stroking the surface with reverence. The strange etching, a pattern Marcus had never noticed, shifted in the glow of the neon lights. It wasn't engraved. It was alive. Suddenly, the air in the alley thickened. Kairosh's gills flared in panic, and Marcus felt the hairs on his neck rise. A ripple of energy pulsed from the coin, subtle but undeniable. By the stars, Kairosh whispered. It's real. The keystone of Erythra. Marcus frowned. That sounds made up. Kairosh glared, his desperation outweighing his hunger. Made up? The keystone is legend among hundreds of species. The artifact that can command star forges, awaken derelict fleets, and bend hyperlanes to its will. It was lost millennia ago when the Erythran Empire collapsed. Marcus scoffed, though unease prickled his gut. And you're saying I handed you a galactic superweapon? In the form of pocket change? Yes, Kairosh hissed. Do you understand? This one object could shift the balance of every war, every empire, every throne. Marcus thought about the absurdity of it. How his grandmother used to joke that the coin had been lucky, passing it down as if it were nothing more than a family trinket. A lucky coin, the kind of thing a child might toss into a wishing fountain. And now, Aliens were whispering the name of a fallen empire because of it. The chase begins. The moment of silence shattered with a roar overhead. Dropships cut through the storm clouds, their engines howling. The insignia of the Varian Syndicate gleamed on their hulls. Kairosh's gills twitched in terror. They've sensed it. The Keystone's signal isn't subtle. They'll come in swarms until the galaxy bleeds for it. Marcus's heart hammered. Then we'd better move. They ran. The rain turned to steam as plasma bolts tore into the street around them. Merchants screamed, scattering as Syndicate soldiers poured into the quarter. Get them! The human has the relic. Marcus cursed under his breath. Me? You're the one holding it. But Kairosh stuffed the coin into Marcus's jacket. They'll track it to whoever's heart it resonates with. Chose you, not me. Run! The realization hit like a shockwave. He hadn't given the coin away. He had inherited something he never wanted. The betrayal. Hours later, they ducked into an abandoned tram tunnel beneath the station. The flickering glow of broken lights illuminated the grime-covered walls. Marcus paced, adrenaline still burning. This is insane. Why me? Why not some ancient scholar or, I don't know, someone who knows how to handle this sort of thing? Kairosh sat trembling, his eyes haunted. Because the Erythrans never trusted scholars or emperors. They trusted the forgotten. The ones no one would suspect. The ones who still carried compassion. Marcus shot him a look. Compassion? I just gave a coin to a starving guy because I felt bad. And that's exactly why, Kairosh said softly. Before Marcus could answer, a sharp click echoed. He froze. A half-dozen shadows emerged from the dark. Mercenaries, rifles leveled. Their leader, a scarred reptilian with steel-plated jaws, stepped forward. Hand over the keystone, human. Do it, and maybe I'll let you live. Kairosh hissed, claws bared. But the mercs trained their guns squarely on Marcus. Marcus lifted his hands slowly. His jacket pocket felt unbearably heavy. The merc leader smirked. You don't even know what you're holding, do you? And then, in an instant of blinding instinct, Marcus flipped the coin into the air. The tunnel exploded in light. The power revealed. For a heartbeat, time seemed to fracture. The coin hovered, spinning in defiance of gravity. Blue-white lines of energy spiderwebbed through the air, humming like a living circuit. The mercenaries screamed as their weapons dissolved into dust. Armor plates peeled away like burning parchment. Even the walls of the tunnel shuddered, ancient glyphs revealing themselves across the stone. Marcus staggered back, shielding his eyes. When the light faded, the mercs were gone, disintegrated into ash. The tunnel lay silent, transformed into a cathedral of alien architecture, as if the keystone had peeled back layers of reality itself. Kairosh dropped to his knees, overwhelmed. It's true. It responds only to a chosen wielder. It's bonded to you now. No force can take it. Marcus clenched his fists, staring at the coin now floating gently into his palm. He didn't want this. He didn't want any of it. But the galaxy clearly had other plans. The Council's demand. Word spread faster than light. Within days, the Galactic Council summoned Marcus to Arendar Prime, the seat of interstellar diplomacy. He was dragged before a hall of towering delegates, thousands of alien species crammed into a cathedral-sized chamber. At the center, a holographic projection of the coin spun slowly, casting eerie shadows across the delegates' faces. Human Marcus, the Grand Arbiter thundered, her crystalline body refracting rainbows with each movement. You hold the most dangerous relic in history. By law, by destiny, it belongs to the Council. You will relinquish it. The crowd erupted shouts, growls, roars. Some demanded its destruction. Others demanded it be used to crush rivals. Marcus glanced at Kairosh, who gave the smallest shake of his head. He thought back to his grandmother's words, her voice raspy with age. It's just a lucky coin, Marcus. Keep it with you, and it'll protect you when you least expect it. Maybe she had known more than she ever let on. Marcus stepped forward, voice steady despite the weight of the galaxy pressing down on him. No, this coin doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to anyone. It belongs to those who remember what kindness is. And judging by the war fleets outside the station, none of you qualify. Gasps rippled through the chamber. You dare defy the council? The arbiter hissed. Marcus held the coin high. The lights of the chamber flickered as if the building itself was bowing to its presence. I don't just defy you. I warn you. The coin chose me. Not your armies, not your empires. If you want it, you'll have to burn through humanity first. The final revelation. The chamber descended into chaos. Armies prepared to march, fleets mobilized. The galaxy teetered on the edge of civil war, all over a coin a human had once dismissed as spare change. But then the coin pulsed again. The ceiling of the chamber split open, revealing the stars. Holographic projections filled the sky, a message encoded within the keystone itself. The voice of the Erythran Emperor echoed, ancient yet clear. To those who find the keystone, know this, it was never meant as a weapon. It is a seed, a test. Only those who give freely to the lowest among them are worthy to unlock what comes next. The stars above rearranged into a map, coordinates to a system lost to time. At its center glowed something far more powerful than fleets or weapons. A creation engine. A forge that could rebuild entire civilizations from dust. The chamber fell silent. Every delegate's eyes turned to Marcus. And for the first time, he smiled. Guess it really was a lucky coin. Epilogue. The galaxy would never be the same. Wars simmered, empires schemed, but one truth remained unshakable. The keystone had chosen a human. Not a warlord, not a conqueror, but an ordinary man who gave away what little he had to someone in need. Marcus pocketed the coin, ignoring the weight of 1,000 eyes on him. Kairosh walked beside him, his hunger forgotten, replaced with something rarer. Hope. And somewhere deep in the stars, ancient engines stirred awake, ready to answer the call of kindness once more.